Hi, good morning, guys. Good morning. Okay, so please can you like try to notify yourself, like if you can hear me? The chat box will do fine. So I know before I start. Okay, okay. Thank you, Ify. Okay, okay. Thank you. Um. Okay, so okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, okay. That's fine. All right. So we'll be starting today's class, and I'll be the one to host this class, basically. Okay, so I'm Fela Malola. Yeah, a product designer, and I based in Lagos, basically. Okay, so our today's topic is user persona. Yeah, so before we start this class, please, in case anyone can't hear me, just try to notify me, and okay, maybe you can hear me or something. All right, so like I said, today's class we're talking more on user persona, right? So before I start, has anyone heard about the word user persona? Maybe you have an idea of what it is or something. Can anyone hear me? Okay, the beep is constantly sounding. Um, yeah. But can you still hear me? Like, can you still hear me? Okay, 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 that's fine. Thank you. All right, so I'm asking a question. Has anyone heard about the word user persona or something? Okay. Okay, okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, so don't worry, it's going to be an interactive session, and I want you guys to know, maybe ask questions. feel free to ask questions, right? So I'll be sharing my screen now so we can start the so we can start the class. So one more thing, even though you can see my screen or you can't see my screen, just let me know so I try to make some changes. Um, okay, so can you all see my screen? Okay, okay, all right, thank you. All right, so I welcome you all to Design Power User UX class. Yeah, so like I said, I'm Fela Mulala, a product designer at Pronage. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about for today's class. We'll be talking more on what are personas, the type of personas we have, together with the benefits. Then why do you need persona as a UXer, as a UX designer? Why do you need how to create a user persona and career basically. So, like I said, this class is going to be an interactive section, and I want you guys to flow well with me. Okay, so we'll be starting now. So user persona are the fictional characters of user based on data collected through research to represent different user type that might use your product. So okay, so let me try to buttress my point here. What this is trying to say is that creating persona can actually help you to, it can help in user needs, right? Those you're actually like building your product for your target audience. Then it's also help you to like know your user experience, their behavior, and their goals, basically. So it's like needs to help you to like recognize that okay, different people have different needs and expectations. So let me try to cite an illustration on what I'm trying to say here. Let's assume you're trying to, okay, let me say you are trying to build a new product for users, right? Let me use what future, okay, let me use a sector in fintech. Maybe I was told to like design a future for transferring money from one bank to another, right? We all know that okay, everyone makes use of this transfer future. Let me say 90%, right? So considering those that are not tech savvy, yeah, so user persona as well. When okay, I'm trying to use the transfer feature to set an illustration, right? So just imagine you want to like create a product for let me say for everyone because there is something called accessibility in UX, right? Savvy, base tech savvy, Gigate. So this is just about design that is going to be more inclusive for everyone, right? So this is where user persona also comes in. You don't just like design or maybe just push out to user persona like that. Okay, this is because this is the product I need to design, and this is how the persona is going to be, right? There should be some decision that actually inform your design, your persona, and all that. Right. So usually personnel are actually represented in one or two, maybe one or two page documents that actually includes the background information, the behavioral patterns, and we have the skills also, goals, attitude, and probably the environment in which a person operates. Right. So this is just trying to say that okay, I'm trying to use okay, no, we have millennials, we have Gen Z, we have Gen X, right? So when you try to create a persona, you have to like know the kind of people that be using your product basically. Okay, so let's assume I'm trying to create I'm trying to okay, let me use health sector to set an illustration, right? Maybe people with disabilities and people that don't even have disabilities, right? Just imagine that, okay, I'm going to be designing for, I'm trying to like set an illustration on products, right? I'm trying to like design a product for maybe those that maybe, let me say, okay, they have issues with disabilities also, right? You know, the kind of person you're going to create for disabilities is different from the kind of person you're going to create for someone that doesn't even have any disabilities or something. And this is the reason, right? The reason is because you never know what kind of maybe the person has eye problem, the person has maybe long sightedness or short sightedness or anything, you know, even when it comes to color blindness and all that. These are what you need to like put into consideration that okay, you need to like, you know, do research. Maybe you want to do your field studies, you want to do usability testing just for you to like understand more about your users basically. I don't know if okay, let me check. Can anyone still hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me, please. Can anyone hear me so I know how to. Please, I need response from you guys. Can anyone hear me? Hello. Um. Okay. So okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone. Those that can't hear me, maybe you try to join the call again so we can start. Like maybe you want to join the call again or something. I think some people can hear me, so okay, so let's continue, right? So what I'm trying to say is the kind of persona you create for people with disabilities is different from the kind of persona you create for people without disabilities, right? And so the reason is because the kind of product, the kind of design you're going to like design for them is different. Or better still, that is why we have accessibilities, right? So accessibility, I've talked about accessibility, right? It's always advisable to design that is very inclusive for everyone, basically, right? So these are what like you need to put into consideration, and even when it comes to mental models, you know, try to like build product that people are actually familiar with. That okay, you don't have to stress your users, right? So these are what you like need to put into consideration. You need to without being empathizing with your users basically, right? So you need to like understand more of it, even if what you feel is right, it might not work for your users, right? So this is why we need to like get more information about the pain points, understand how they think, understand how they feel for a product, or probably it's even an existing product, right? Just like collect some information, document what they feel about using the product, or something that is more familiar actually, right? So okay, you can see any. Okay, thank you. So the next one is type of person. I've tried to like explain some stuff about this person. Right? So we have proto personas, we have statistical personas, we have qualitative personas, right? There's something about persona. Maybe for example, you check. Okay, let me use. Okay, maybe I'm the director of Design Power, right? And probably Kemi is the maybe say founder of maybe School of UX. You know, the thing to like the way you think is actually different because the way I understand personal might be different from the way Kenny understand personal, right? So you might check Google, you might check maybe Interaction Design Foundation, and the kind of explanation they give about personal might be different, but that doesn't mean they're saying something different, right? It's still, you are still on the same line. So you may Google and you know just different about type of personal, but then you're still talking about the same thing, right? So we have three personas. From my own end, we have proto, statistical, and qualitative. And the one I feel people use most, like most use them designers, is the qualitative personas. Because that's where you tend to like, you know, it's actually based on how do I put it? Okay, it's actually based on small sample qualitative research, right? So that okay, if not people that conduct interviews, some of you might be familiar about interviews, you know, maybe okay, I send out surveys to some friends. I'm trying to create a product, and um, I'm trying to like gather more information about how they feel for a product if they're meant to use it, right? So this falls under qualitative personas. When you tend to like have you do qualitative research, you did interviews, you did disability testing, or even field studies, right? In fact, you can even get to like know more about your usability testing in through your field studies, or even through qualitative research come in different ways basically. But then what most designers do is more of qualitative personal, because I know some of us are actually familiar with usability testing and all that. And one more thing is, I really don't want to like jump into jump into another like topic, but I think it's actually in line to what I want to say now. When it comes to wireframing, right? Um, Maybe you're not familiar, but then you can try to like test your wireframing. Like it's very very important. I myself, probably if I want to design a product, I don't just jump into high fidelity. And I'm sure maybe those that have taken us on maybe user experience or something, they would have already explained what more of user experience is, right? It's not about the design, it's not about the UI, it's just about like creating more emotions for your users. If your design is beautiful, you might not have a good experience actually. So what's the point, right? So don't just assume that okay, I think this one, I don't like this one. Don't assume to your own self. There's something called hypothesis evaluation, right? You need to like do some assumptions. Even if you want to do like your "I might twist" statements, right? Just try to like, okay, don't be biased with it. Don't feel because you're using a product and you feel that okay, I don't like these features, right? Because you are a designer, it is what you don't like. Don't use it to affect like maybe other people that want to use the product. And one more thing, anytime you're trying to like design products, don't assume for yourself, right? Not because you're a designer and all that. Try to like, it is very, very important to know what you're designing for. Maybe you want to, okay, and it's very essential to like maybe conduct, maybe you want to do qualitative research or quantitative actually. So you can like interview about 3 people, 5 people. I usually do it more of odd numbers, because odd numbers in the sense that whatever data I'm collecting, I want to do my customer journey map or my empathy mapping, right? It's very essential that you do maybe like odd numbers, maybe 3, 5, or 7, like interview those people. Reason is because out of these 3, for example, 2 of them I wait, let me see. Can you still hear me? And hope I'm not rushing. Um, please, do you get what I'm saying so far? Please, I need response. Okay, can't hear you. Hi, Ikmat. Please, can you try to like maybe join again because people can hear me actually. So if you can try to join back again, I think that's fine. Okay, okay, thank you. All right, so please, in case you have any question, just try to like document your question. I'll take all questions. Like, okay, probably when we are done, right? So let me continue. So what I'm trying to say is just like don't be biased about your design, don't be biased about the future. It's very, very important to empathize more with your users and collect their pain points, understand how they feel about the product basically. So about proto personas, proto personas is basically more of trying to like create existing products. You're actually designing based on assumptions, right? It's about who your users are, about not it's not really more of new research. Yes, people don't really use proto personas for new, maybe a new product or something. It's basically more maybe existing assumption and all that. Then statistical persona as well. There's something called qualitative research also, different from these qualitative personas, right? It actually informs some survey instruments that are actually used. Okay. So statistical persona in the sense that probably I try to like do like a large sample size, right? When the personas actually emerge from statistical analysis, basically. So it's just about more of numbers. It is just basically for large number of maybe products you want to do, right? Because you tend to like have different personas for all that. But basically more is just about qualitative personas, and that is what I do basically. I do more of qualitative personas, right? So that's for that. Okay, so for benefit of user personas. We have it helps you understand your users. It helps you develop empathy. Okay, so for this number one, I think I've already like shed more light on it, right? So there are a lot of benefits when creating user persona. Like it's a whole lot, right? So the users, like I said, right? It's help you understand about their experience. Probably there's an existing product or okay, so let me use this. Maybe probably there's a competitive I think there are competitors out there. Let me use Access Bank. Not the other competitors like maybe Sterling Bank, GT Bank, our local banks, right? So now, if you're trying to like create a new product, right? You don't just like, okay, because these people have this thing. No, what you could just do is try to do some competitive benchmark on all these existing products. Look at what they are not doing right. You can actually just use the weakness as your own strength. Just like creating something more easy for you, something more seamless, more intuitive ties more with them. Then the second one is just about helps you develop empathy with users. I think I've explained this. Yeah, so it helps like okay, it really shows that you care more about them. It shows that okay, I think these people you actually feel I'm using a good product. There is this joy in you when you try to like create more intuitive design for people, something that is more okay, it actually solved all their problems. And even when it comes to click-through rates, right, you don't have to stress your users to start clicking on a whole lot of maybe screens before they can achieve a particular feature. No, it's not about that. Like, and I want you to remember that as a UX designer, you don't want to stress your users, right? You don't want to give them a whole lot of tasks to do before they can achieve their own results, right? You just have to like empathize more with them, and this is the reason why user persona is very very important for you to like conduct, right? Then the next one, it helps to make certain decisions for your products. Yes, like I said, you have to be biased about your products. Okay, so what I feel about a product might be different from what those end users wants to use, right? So it helps you to like make certain decision because even from conducting your research, it helps you to like understand more about what they want, their goals, their needs, and their behaviors basically. So these are the reason why you have to like conduct user person and not just create user persona because I want to like maybe I want to have a case study or something, right? You have to be so intentional about it. You can achieve your UI design or something. And that is the reason. That is the more reason why I said, even if you are given a project brief, maybe you have to like understand the scope of the project. You have to like. It's very important for you to like ask questions from stakeholders. It's very very important. Like you have to understand because if you don't understand the product you're trying to build, there is no point trying to like maybe you want to create a persona, you want to create a customer journey map, right? To understand more about your product, about your users, and all that, right? So that is more about some benefit of user persona. Okay, so the next one is why do you need persona as a UXer, right? So what this is saying is why do you need a persona as a UX? I think I've already explained this also, right? So looking at it, according to what I've explained earlier, creative personas can actually help you to look beyond yourself. It's actually help you to like think from a third person point of view, right? So I think I've already explained this. It helps you not to be biased about your own self. Okay, so let me use Kemi again as an illustration. Maybe for example, I'm trying to like design a product. And maybe Kemi is not a designer, right? Maybe she's part of my end users, those are going to use the product. And just imagine that I never did maybe a research with her, right? I'm just like doing things based on my own assumptions, right? So if probably they launch a product and the product is not usable for chem. So do you get it? Like, what is the point? There is no point using that product because I never solved a problem, right? I never solved anything at all. So the thing is just about creating more seamless experience, understand, and even at this, it's very, very important for you to like conduct usability testing. Very, very important. Like even before you launch a product, even before you do your high fidelity designs, make sure you test the wireframing in order not to go back and forth on your design that maybe you've solved a problem or not. So before you even like create your UIs, it won't be difficult, right? So far you have a design system, you have your style guide with you, and it won't be difficult because you've already tried to like solve maybe like 80% of the problem on the wireframing. In fact, some people try to like do a prototype, prototype for wireframing, right? So don't be surprised to see people. In fact, this is how the process works. But then, like, it's always like depend on the scope of the project. You try to like do wireframing, test the wireframing with your end users, because it's not possible for you to have empathy mapping without your customer journey map, right? Because how would you conduct empathy mapping without your okay. So sorry, my bad. I don't know if maybe some of you are familiar with. Oh, my voice is breaking. Please, can anyone still hear me? Let me just know if I'm flowing with someone. Okay. Hi Stanley, can you still hear me? Like, is it loud and clear? It might be from your end because I think people can hear me also. Okay. All right. Thank you. So please, in case you can't hear me, just try to like. It's breaking. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I can do to this, but sometimes it breaks. Wow, my mic strips off. Hey, Jesus, what did we do today? So, uh, don't know, but my network here is good, and I don't know why we're having this. But please, you guys that are having problem with maybe hearing me or something, can you try to join the call again? Like maybe go off and join the call again. Because I feel some people can hear me like Oyoluwa, Timi, Abdul Kudus can hear me loud and clear. So maybe you want to like just go off and join the call again. Okay, thank you. Trying to like um, create your personal rights. No, and again, personal actually help you to like recognize that different people have different needs and expectations, and it also help you to clarify that okay, who your target audience is. Do you get? And one more thing, right? There are some certain questions you need to like ask yourself or even like ask stakeholders because it's very, very important. If you don't ask questions from stakeholders, there is no point because you don't know who wants to use the product. Probably it's not even maybe the common product we have here in Nigeria or probably outside Nigeria or something, right? So it's very, very important to like ask questions. So I can remember some 4 questions because this is how I do my own, right? Probably I'm giving a scope of a product, and there's some, I think about 4 to 5 questions I do ask my stakeholders, or probably, anybody I need to like ask the question from. I need to like ask question like, who is the ideal customer? I think I've explained this earlier. Okay, let me check again. Oh, they can still hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, thank you. All right, so just like I said, you can like certain question need to ask your stakeholders or probably anybody that was giving you a project brief, right? Questions like, who is the ideal customer? So the reason why you're asking this question is because, like I said, the kind of product I'm building for a maybe a company or something is different from the kind of products Kemi is building for another company, right? So like it's very, very important to know what you are building your product for. It might even be old people, you're trying to build products for old people. And this is when accessibility comes in, right? The normal thing you do, maybe you're trying to create minimal design. I'm not sure. I'm not sure designing for old people will be very, very minimal, yeah, because most of them they use glasses, and you want to like create designs that is very, very visible and legible for them to read, right? So these are very, very important for us to like ask questions like this. Then question like what are the current behavior patterns, right? So you need to like understand about their behavior. You need to like understand how they think, how they feel basically, because it's very important. You as a UX designer, you have to have emotions. You have to like empathize more with your users. Show them that yes, you care about them. Do you understand? Through your product, you try to like, yes, I care about these people. I have to like understand what they need. It's not about you, yeah. It's just about you designing a product for them that is more seamless for them. But then you have to like carry out every research with them, basically the requirements and goals. I've said this also. Like you have to like ask questions of these end users. Ask them, okay, what is your name? Even if you don't want to ask their name, right? It's not important to know what their name is. You can ask about their age, right? And I'll give you a reason why you should ask about their age. The reason is because, um, like I said earlier on, we have millennials, we have Gen Z, we have Gen X, and maybe other one I don't know of. But then this is why you're asking about the age is because you tend to like know the kind of products you build for them. You have to like understand the kind of pattern you do maybe when you're trying to design, maybe probably your style guide, your typography. That typography is very, very important, right? Because you try to like design product that is very, very legible for them to read. They don't struggle with your product. These are what you need to put into consideration when designing for them, right? Then I think I've mentioned three, right? Which is the ideal customer? What are the current behavior patterns? Probably they have a product they're familiar with, and try to like create another competitor for them. What you should do as a designer is just for you to like create a product that is far much better than what they are using. So you need to like understand more about their current behavior, how they think, how they use it. If they have any question, maybe any pain points, right? You need to like let them know about it. Then what problem do they currently face? Like I said, I'm trying to like use Access Bank to maybe to buy airtime. I want to huge number of click-through rates, right? You need to like let them know that how do they feel, from there you need to like know about their pain points, what they're struggling with. Can you see why you need to like why you need a person as a UX designer? Like it's very, very important because these are questions you tend to like gather. These are information you try to like gather for your user persona, right? So that's for that. Okay, so you can still hear me. Okay. So please, in case no one can hear me, just like let me know about it. So the next one is gathering goal driven persona, right? So there's some best ways to generate goal driven user data. Proud to persona, which are surveys, user interviews, right? So let me try to buttress my point on this particular one, which is, I said something about how valuable personas is, even if they truly represent the data you have collected from users. And you as a UX designer, right? Sometimes you might actually fall a victim to the belief that experience as a user experience, right? Maybe you've already prepared them well enough to design without the need for research. There are ways like that, right? So the two best way that I actually feel like you could just generate a goal-driven user data is through survey and user interviews. You try to like turn research into a goal-oriented design with your persona. So basically, when surveys and interview and like maybe they've already been concluded, you've done it and you're done with it. You already tried to like document the data. You already understand about the behavior, about the pain points, and something. Even the UX research. It's help you to like sort through data and find some features that are very, very usable and what's not, right? So actually, let me tell you something. It can actually be, let me say, the hardest step because it actually takes a long time to determine what is useful, right? So, okay. So please, can you still hear me? Do you understand what I've been saying so far? So please let me know if you maybe you understand anything I've been saying. So, so let me know, please. You can try to use the chat box if you. Can anyone hear me? Hello. Okay, okay. So, do you understand what I've been saying so far, guys? So, I need your comments. Okay, okay. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you. So, I think I've explained about the surveys. So, I think some of us should be familiar about surveys. Some used to use this website, maybe Survey Monkey, then maybe questions. It looks like Survey Monkey actually. So they actually perform the same actions. You're just about to like you said some certain question according to the kind of product you are building for the kind of product you are building actually, right? So you take like set question, you want to like send it out maybe to a and in fact the funniest thing is probably you're trying to like design a large product for people. You can just like do something like a focus group, or maybe you need to add all of them to one group. Then when you're done, send the surveys to them so they answer differently, right? So this kind of action is different from how you do user interviews. You really don't want to like do a Google Meet call for them, and no, it won't work because what I said, probably the second user doesn't even know what he wants to say. He might want to copy me. Do you get? So it doesn't work that way. Maybe you want to do, even if it's WhatsApp call. There's a project I'm working on of recent, and the user was telling me that he doesn't know how to use Google Meet. Do you get? Or even Zoom call. I wanted to like incorporate this kind of thing that okay, I did some interview, ask them question. I want to like see how they feel. Do you get my point? So it was like no, I was forced to use WhatsApp call. Fine, it works, right? But then just imagine I'm trying to like create maybe another product, like maybe and I want you to know that there is no perfect design out there. So maybe probably these are things that okay, these people have problem like trying to use Google Meet. You could just like even if it's like a tour, there's something about products, right? Maybe you're trying to like create a new product, and obviously some user might not know how to use a product without a third party interfering. You can just create something like a tour for them. A tour is just like onboarding, trying to like explain some features for them. So it makes it more easier for them to like understand how to navigate through those products and every other features you've known that you've already designed for them, right? So these are what you need to like put into consideration. Don't be in a rush to create your high fidelity. Don't be in a rush to create your user interface design. Do you get the point? So that's not about your user interview and survey. So it's very, very important to like generate some goal-driven user data for them. So these are what actually inform some of your design decision and all that, right? So the next one is creating creating usable persona with UX research. Um, so about this, I made mention of something about creating a product that is more usable, creating a product that is more equitable, also something that is more enjoyable for people to use, right? So there's actually some powerful ways to understand your users before your platform is built. Like I said, you need to like understand everything. Like even if you're not going to capture 100%, it's not possible for your product to be 100% perfect. No, but at least so far you've already captured the main thing you need to capture, right? You need to now understand these users. I keep mentioning users understand users, because if not, the product, you might even spend a whole year building a product and it might not even be usable. Why? Reason is because you never even conducted research, you never even interviewed your users. So what is the point, right? And these are what might actually lead to bouncy rates of a product. You really want to like increase more of conversion rate for users, right? So that's what you like need to put into consideration before creating your persona. Then also as a UX designer, it's very, very important to like justify your design decision. Um, okay, how to come up with a goal-driven question. All right, so thank you. I'm going to like answer your question, but let me finish with the slide, right? So I will answer every question. So there are powerful way, like I said, to understand your user before your platform is built, right? So let me say something as a UX designer as well. Like it's very, very important. Like it's very essential to justify design decision. You know, I said that there should be some certain reason why this might inform a design decision, right? So when they are based off your research and not just your design principles, so that's why at times you might call yourself a UI UX designer, right? There is a and I'm glad design path will like try to like differentiate UI class and UX class because it's a different skill itself. You might want to be a UI UX designer, fine, but then it's very, very important to have a stack, like just have a niche and just move on, you know. You try to like focus more on that particular, maybe not focus more on UX, focus more on UI. Do you get? So UI comes in, maybe you want to like be even UI itself. It has a lot of niche under UI. You might want to be a design system designer. It works, right? So these are a lot, like a whole lot. And you don't just be a designer because my friends, no, not that. So it's very, very important. Have this passion for you to like build products, right? It's very, very interesting actually, like to be a UX designer, right? And apparently, I want you all to know that not all projects need to utilize user persona, and they are typically used in more complex or research design projects. Do you get the point? So it's not all like when we say it's not all cases. You might want to like design something more, something just small feature. Even if it's just one user you can get, that is fine. So far, it's not a large product, you know, it's not something more complex and all that. So as a designer, any assumptions that you want to make about your users can be invalid. Actually, yes. But best way to like find out if maybe you're testing, right? And how important it is. So probably if you've done the okay, let me come to high fidelity here. Your user interface. You are done. You really don't want to like hand over to developers. It doesn't work, right? You need to like do some, even when you're done with your high fidelity, conduct that research and see if you already solved the problem you actually conducted, right? So it's very, very important to like, you know, do testing. In fact, keep iterating. Iterating process is what actually like makes your design more usable for people to use. Do you get the point? So how to create a user persona. So this is the general flow I used to use actually, like how the general flow out to create a persona. But then I use more of user information, identify behavioral patterns from research data, then create your persona, right? So it actually depends on the type of project, even on the budget also, you know, and even some data designers can also collect as well. So you need to like that is the reason why in fact it might even take you 1 week for you to like understand your product. Don't be in a rush to like start a product, right? Fine, there might be deliverables, there might be deadlines for you to like meet up with. But then if you're like trying to meet up with deadlines, okay, what is the point if you eventually just design a product and it's not even usable? Do you get the point? So you need to like have a flow. See, my own flow may be different from what Kemi flow is. The most important thing is just for you to like understand how it works, right? So it's not possible for us to like have different flow on how to do something, and this is not even applicable to user persona as well, right? So your user information, you need to, it's like know maybe you want to know the person's name. Sorry, you want to know the person's age, and I think I explained why age is very important. Why trying to create a user persona, it's important because you need to like understand those you are building for. Maybe they fall under millennials, they fall under Gen Z or Gen X or whatever, right? So it's things like know, okay, this is who I'm trying to like build my product for. Do you understand why it's very important for you to like collect your user information? Identify behavioral, let me say survey or even user interview. You remember what I talked about survey and user interview, right? So let me use let me say survey. So when I'm trying to create my survey, there are some questions I need to like ask them. Probably let me use transfer future again. I want to like transfer money from one bank, maybe from Access Bank to Sterling Bank. And I ask questions like, what do you feel about this product? Questions like, okay, is there any difficulty when trying to like transfer money from one bank to another? So probably if your user tends to like mention some pain points, you can use that pain point to do your user persona as well. Because from there you tend to like know their difficulties, you tend to like understand more about their behavior, how they think, as well. So after all that, this is the last stage. I try to like create my persona. So let me show you what a persona looks like. This is a persona I try to like create for a retail management system, right? So if you check some persona probably on Google or something, even if you see on Binance, just check for user persona. You see a lot of thing how they create user persona. I would have tried to like put more. If you see some personal rights, they used to have like maybe skills, they have motivation, they have all that thing. I think there's some personal that are very, very like too extensive. But then, like I said, before you can create a persona, understand the product because I got to discover that even if I put skills here, there is no point putting skills. So this is what it looks like. I can't zoom, but this is what it looks like for. I don't know if everyone can see this. This is what it looks like for user information. This is what I meant by user information. Let me information. I said something about user information, right? When you want to create a user persona, this is it where I guess like know the person. So I'm trying to like understand more about traders because those are part of my personas. Traders are one of my personal field agents, then admins. You can see I have different personas like that, but these ones are just for traders, right? So I guess like for the user information, I collected their gender, their age, the location, tech savviness. I need to like understand how they think. Maybe they're well educated or something. I need to like understand the education level, the language, right? Language is very, very important also, right? So this is the information as well. And again, when you're trying to like create a persona, the kind of you need to like know user biography because not just any biography, the biography in the sense that it must align with the kind of product you're trying to build. So if you read this story, I'll share this slide with you guys. But if you read this story, you say that it tends to like it's aligned with the kind of product I'm trying to build. So this persona is just for retail management system, right? So it might not be clear enough, and I can't zoom, like I can't zoom again. So in case if you read it, so probably I'm trying to like build a future like transfer future again. I change like maybe a story like Fela Molola is maybe a student of a State University. She's a product designer. She loves if she's not designing, she's probably watching movies. she loved to, we know this thing about Sapa now. So we're trying to like run away from Sapa or whatever, right? So just make sure your biography, the user biography, align with the kind of product you're trying to build, right? So this is the goals. I need to like understand the goal of the users because this is what I try to like gather for me to write out my all my tweet statements, my empathy mapping, my customer journey map, right? So let me tell you something again. You see UX design, right? UX design is just about storytelling, right? Just flow with the story, flow with the process. Don't like fine, it's normal for you to look for inspiration, right? But it's not about okay, because this person did this one, so I want to like do the same thing for my own. No, it doesn't work. Reason is because you never know what inform that person design decision. Do you get the point? So you need to like just understand more about the goals of their particular product you're trying to build. You need to like understand more about that frustration. I said something about maybe you want to do a transfer future and probably you're doing competitive benchmark, right? So you need to like to create something more, something more enjoyable for them to use. Do you get the point? So you need to like understand that frustration because it's the frustration it tends to like turn into a strength for them, right? So we also have tools because I have to like capture tools for me to like understand the way they think, the kind of platform they use for their retailing business. So this explanation that I used for Mr. Obina Nwoko is the same thing for this Atinuke Omokoyin. Do you get? So you can like use any picture. I said something about personas. Personas are just fictional characters. Do you get? So it's not about okay because I interviewed Kemi picture must be here. No, do you get? Because I interviewed Kemi, I must use her name. No, it doesn't matter. The image and name doesn't matter. What matters here is just the biography, the information, their goals, the frustration. I hope we get that. So the next one is okay. So this is the takeaway, right? We are done, and I really don't want to like bug you guys. No, the most important thing is just for you guys to understand more about personas, and I'm sure that before the end of this class you should be able to like know how to create personas, right? So let me just mention that there are different tools you can use to like create personas. So for this about what you're trying to solve, right? So this is my final result, my takeaway from everything I've been saying, right? I want you all to know that personas are fictional characters. You create personas based on your research to help you understand your users. So definitely without your research, there is not possible for you to like understand your users. Do you get the point? Because there is no point. And please don't do anything like wuru to the answer. Oh. I hope you all know that. So it's just about creating, just understand research. And as a UX designer, research is very, very important, actually, right? So you need to like understand your users, understand their needs, their experience, their behaviors and goals, right? So creating personal to help you identify with and understand the user you're designing for. So that is all from my end. So I think I'm available to take any question. So any question, I would love to. Yeah, it's too tiny, we can't see. Yeah, so let me share the slide with you guys so you can like go through it. I can't. Okay. So let me start from. So this is the link. I don't know if Or probably I'll send the link to Kemi so she can share it to the group. So you guys can like know. And again, if you have any question, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. You can enter my DM. I think you can also try to chat me up on Slack. I'll try to join the Slack channel so we can communicate with me. Any question actually, like I'm available to help you guys to with this phase. And I'm glad you guys are doing this actually. So the question I'll be take. I think someone asked a question before trying to, okay, so how to come up with goal driven question from Obi Francisca. I've already asked something about how do I put this? I said something about goal driven questions. Like, so this is before you can even come up with a goal driven question, you need to like understand your product, right? So it is that product you're going to like initiate into your question. Okay, let me use product like edutech. I want to design a product for maybe for kiddies that are trying to learn. So you can ask question like, okay, who are the people I'm trying to like build product for? Despite the fact that it tends what are your frustrations? What do you think we should do right? It's just about solving for them or not you, right? Even at times you might even have issues with stakeholders, but then you just like let stakeholders understand the fact that you are designing for users and not them. Some stakeholders are actually concerned about user interface, right? And it is more of user experience to user interface. But then both works together because there's also user experience in UI. So let me use this. I hope I answered your question, Obi Francisca. So it actually depends on your product, the kind of product you're trying to build, before you can like come up with any goal-driven question. Do you get? Okay, so I mentioned okay the tools you can use Figma, you can use Canva. Do you get? Okay, so let me come again. What are the tools? So Abdul Kudus, Oreoluwa, Nkechi. I think I've already typed it on the group chat. You can use Figma or Canva. So the one I showed you guys, I used Canva for it. But there is one other product I designed early this year. I used Figma. So just use what works best for you. Do you understand? So I also gave you the reason why I used Canva. It is because I wanted to use Canva to do presentation. You need to like empathize more with your users, understand how they feel, how they think. It actually help you to like know the kind of data you'll be trying to like profile for them, right? So one other question, is there like a standard to the number of personal we create, like a maximum or minimum? Okay, so let me say something. Most times I try to like create a maximum of three personals, then at times two, but minimum of two actually. Do you get the point? So minimum of two, minimum of three. So reason is because you might even see maybe out of that three, you might see the same goals that this person understand, right? You might have the same goals, you might have the same pain point. So, but we advise you not to do one. If you do one, there is no point doing one. Do you get the point? So you can do maximum of three, the minimum of two actually. Timmy, did I answer your question? All right, thank you. So, guys, I'm expecting more questions. So please ask questions. It's very, very important to ask questions. I think I can send a link to this chat box, but I'll make sure I send it to Kemi so she can share to the group chat. I think you should be able to view from your end. So you view what I wrote about the user persona, the kind of information I collected, the biography, and all that. Do you get the point? So, what other questions do we want to ask? Any other question, guys? Okay, I see no one. Okay, difference between user journey mapping and empathy mapping. Okay, so I really don't want to like, this topic is is another topic on its own. But let me give you a brief difference, right? So user journey mapping and empathy mapping, they work hand in hand, right? So it's not possible for you to like create empathy mapping without user journey mapping, because you need to like ask yourself what led you to do empathy mapping without user journey mapping. So you have to like, you can't hear me. Hey, can anyone hear me? Please, can anyone hear me? Okay, okay, yeah, okay. I'm done with the high fidelity, and I gave them my phone to like, I want them to like navigate through the app. I want to see how they relate. I want to see how they relate with the application. If we have solved the problem for them. And I got to discover that only 70% of them understand what I've done. But then I'm not satisfied. Do you get? So I try to balance those other 30%. So what I did is I tried to like collect, I documented the process. I documented their thoughts about it and all that.
Thinking about what?
Is anyone talking?
For that princess marriage.
I can't hear you, Obi. Okay, so let me continue. So I guess like understand how they feel about a product. How they feel about a product in the sense that I see, okay, maybe if they're happy about a product, if they're sad, probably they're neutral. So from there, I'm really trying to like gather my customer journey map. So there is maybe probably if we'll be opportuned to talk more about customer journey map or empathy mapping, like shed more light on it. But then you do your customer journey map before your empathy mapping. Your empathy mapping in the sense that you tend to like know how they think, their feeling, what they say, and what they do. Those four should I Hi Obi, can you hear me? I don't know if Obi's still on this call. She's still on this call. So okay, so I think that's for difference between user journey map and empathy mapping. So Stanley, we have this might be outside the user persona. Please, what tool is best to use when doing the user experience research before going into UI design? Okay, so when we're talking about UX research, there is a whole lot about UX research. Are you talking about user persona itself? Because when it comes to user research, there is field studies, there is user persona, there is qualitative research, there is quantitative research, right? There's a whole lot when talking about user experience research. So I don't know which part you want me to explain. So can you like buttress a point so I know what to answer your rate? But then you can use for quantitative research, right? Quantitative, from the word quantitative, like it has to do with numbers, right? You can use your surveys for that, certain questions for your users. Then when it comes to competitive benchmark, competitive benchmark, I really don't want to like further monitor this, so I don't like bug you guys too much. But then competitive benchmark, you can use You can use Excel sheet actually. Yes, Microsoft Excel sheet. You can even use your Figma, and good so good. Figma is very, very good. Like it's a good tool for you to use. You can use Figma and FigJam. And there's a difference between FigJam and Figma, right? So it's a whole lot. So I think that's all for my end. And there's a whole lot to do when doing your user research. Because network, okay, do not let me hear. Okay, so your empathy mapping and user personas. Let me say this: your user personal first before empathy mapping, because there is no how you want to do your empathy mapping without your user personal. Your user persona helps you to like understand the kind of people you are building your product for. It is after that you try to like ask them questions. After you've gathered the biography, their user information, if you didn't understand the behavioral patterns, right? These are all what you put into consideration not when doing your empathy mapping. So it is user persona first before empathy map. Do you get? So that is the reason why I don't want to go into empathy map and customer journey map, because it is a talk on its own, and I really don't want to like make you guys more confused. That's why I'm trying to like escape that route. So I don't like. Hi Timmy, can you hear me? Hello. Okay, yes. Okay, okay, thank you. So I think that was all from my end. Okay, I don't know if this is a new trend. Like some product tend to have user story than empathy mapping. Um. Okay. I see you guys are having too much of question that is not aligning with user persona. But then what I'll just tell you is that it's better for us to like focus more on user persona, because if not, you get confused, right? Like you'll be very, very confused about the words. You trying to like know empathy mapping, customer journey map, user story. All these are a topic on its own, right? But then user story comes in a way that maybe I want to like transfer feature. Come up with a user story that will help you to like make your design more faster. In the sense that maybe as a user, I want to like transfer money from one bank to another without any disruption or something. Do you get destiny? So please, I don't want to make you guys more confused, because the more we keep saying this, asking more questions about this that does not even align with user persona, you get more confused. It just comes. It's not hard actually. It's just the normal way you do your design. You know, just come here. You can put the user picture here, right? You can put their information, their biography here, right? So it's not hard. It's just for you to like, okay, put biography here, right? So biography, you can put the image of the user, what other thing. So you can come here to put user information. Let me give this one another color, maybe this color, right? So you can put user info like age, gender, and all that, right? So you can also come here and put, this is the main thing when you're creating a user persona. Do you get the point? So you tend to like use, you can put the goal of, after doing your research, ask them about the goals and everything. Put your goals here. You can put the pain points here. See, your user persona can be longer than what I did. Big get, so it actually differs. It's not something that it's just about documenting your process, right? It's just about documenting. So that is it for how to how if you want to use FigJam. It's very advisable to use Figma instead of FigJam because FigJam is more of whiteboarding, right? So it takes like explore more Figma to FigJam. Do you understand? So Abiblai, do you understand how to conduct a user persona? I've already explained this, but I explained how to design or how to like come up with a user persona, how to conduct user persona. I think I've already explained that earlier. I don't know if you joined the class late, but I've done that before. So I think that was all from my end. I need to like we need to end this class and thank you all for joining this class. Thank you so much. So we meet some other time. So I don't know if okay, I think we can have access to the file now. So you can have access. Okay, 12 people. Okay, I think you can access it now. So that's fine. I don't know if Kemi is on this call. Probably she wants to say something or hi Kemi. Don't know if she's here or probably the design hosts. So yes, you can use my role. Yes, you can also use I think Mimiska for it. So you can use any tool. Just do what. So that is all from my end. Please, is there design part host? Do you want to say something? I think we are done with the class. Okay, so I think she has nothing to say. But then thank you all for joining this class. I hope you all enjoyed the class anyways. So if you have more question, you can try to like add me on Twitter. This is my Twitter handle. Just enter my DM. Don't worry. I'm very free to chat with. You can chat me up on Instagram also. I'll always reply your message. So feel free to chat me up. I'll be willing to answer your question. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. That's all from my end. So do have a good day. Bye.